Welcome everyone, here is how you use the Google Pixel 7. So starting off with the buttons, we do have the power button here and the volume rockers. What you may have noticed is if you long press on the power button, it activates the Google Assistant. This is where you are able to add your voice commands such as turn off my phone, start a timer, etc. If you have any request, you can send it to Google Assistant here. However, you may have noticed there is no way to turn off the phone, right? Well, there is a way. What you need to do instead is you're going to find the power button and the volume up button, and you need to click and release these two buttons at the exact same time. So I'm going to get one finger on the power, one finger volume up, click release, and then we have here the power menu. So if you tap on the power off or restart, it's going to power off or restart your device, no fuss. If you long press on the power off, you're going to see the reboot to safe mode option. This is useful if you need to fix your Pixel 7. Maybe an application you installed is causing the phone to run slow or just not work properly. By going into safe mode, you can delete the recently installed apps, and then you should have that issue solved. On top of this, if you do the power button and the volume down button together, you just press and hold power, volume down together. This is going to take a screenshot. So one button on power, one button on volume down, click and hold, keep on holding, and you can release when you see this little animation. This right here has taken a screenshot, and so it's just captured everything on the screen. If I take another screenshot, you do have the option to edit the screenshot here. So you can crop, add text, annotate as you would like, okay, erase, undo, redo, delete your screenshot, share your screenshot, and then you have the save button if you would like the screenshot to be saved. On top of this, you do have a share option here if you'd like to share the screenshot directly. If you slide the screenshot to the left, this will quickly save the screenshot, because by default this preview lingers for a couple of seconds and then it's going to go away. You can see maybe about 10 seconds or so. But if I take a screenshot, I can immediately slide it off and then it will be saved. If you want to see where the screenshots are located, you use the Photos app here. So in the Photos app, let's go to Library, and then you see Screenshots, and you can see all of the screenshots you've taken. Alright, let's discuss opening up apps. So we have this white bar here, okay? You may be used to the buttons, one button to go home, one button to go back, one button to multitask, but with the white bar we do things differently. So if I open up an app, let's say I want to go out of the app, go home, you're going to find where the bar is. It will either be white or black, depending on the background, and you just want to flick up and release with one finger, okay? So usually you'd use your thumb, you flick up starting from the bar, and then release when your finger can't really move much more, so accidentally spent too long. Okay, we're back on the app. So let's flick release, boom. You can see, nice and simple motion. You don't need to go straight up, you just flick release off to the side, should be a natural motion, and you can see I can easily close out of applications. Sometimes, depending on the app, you may not see a bar show up. If that's the case, you will either need to slide up from the bottom or from the side in order to view the white bar or the black bar, and then you do the flick motion and then it will close out of the application. But we closed out of an app, which is cool and all, but it's still in the background right now. So in order to get into the multitasking view, we're going to do that same flick motion, but instead of releasing our finger, we're going to hold our finger down on the screen for about half a second or so, and then we're going to release. So I'm going to do the flick up, but I'm going to hold, okay? You're noticing I'm not releasing the finger, and the app isn't closing, right? And when you hold in this position, you should feel the phone vibrate. And when you feel the phone vibrate, then you release your finger, okay? So this is going home, boom. This is going to multitasking, right? So you just slide up and release. So once we are in the multitasking view, you can slide across to see all of the applications you have opened in the multitasking. If you slide to the far right, you're going to have the clear all option. What this will do is it will clear all applications from the multitasking. If you would like to clear out individual applications, so let's say I just want to close out of Google Play, you find the app box, which is this, okay, the preview of the app, and you just want to flick up just like you're going home, but don't flick up from the black bar, flick up from what you see the app preview, like so, boom, and you can see I'm closing out of the apps. On top of this, you can from here screenshot and do a select text. So the screenshot, of course, will capture the screen, but when you screenshot here, it's not going to capture everything here. It's going to capture what is in this preview, okay? So if I take that screenshot, you're going to see it shows what was in the multitasking here, okay? And then if I go to select, you're going to see it's going to have all of the text which was on screen. You can long press on that text. You can only do one white box at a time, okay? So this is a white box, for example. This is a white box. You can't just copy it all. It's a bit of a shame. You have to go through individually, copy each white box, and then you can get the text from an image, just like so. On top of this, the multitasking is useful for split screen, okay? So let's go back home, and let's say I want to split screen with, you know, the messages and Google Chrome. So what you're going to do is you're going to open up the first app you'd like to split screen, in my case messages, and then you open up the second app you'd like to split screen, in my case Google Chrome. From here, you're going to activate multitasking with the slide up and hold, like I mentioned earlier. You're going to find the application you would like to split screen on the top half, and you just want to slide over to it, okay, in multitasking. You're then going to tap on the app, you know, icon, and then you're going to see the option to split top. Now, you just find the second app you would like to split screen, and you can see we are successfully split screen, okay, one app on the top, one app on the bottom. If you would like to flip, let's say I want the bottom app here to be on the top, top app to be on the bottom, you see that white bar in the middle, not on the bottom, in the middle, just double tap it, try that again, and you can see it's going to switch the applications which are on top and bottom. On top of this, you can slide the white bar down and up to change the percentage of each app shown on the screen. If you slide to the bottom, you will have the bottom app closed. If you slide to the top, you'll close out of the top app, like so. What you may have noticed is we're opening up apps, but let's say I open up settings and I go into a sub menu here. How do I go back, right? You can tap on the back button, but that's like very hard to reach, okay? So the solution, which you should be using, is you're going to find either the far right or the far left hand side of the screen, and you just want to swipe out, and you can see we have this little icon show up, okay? Once you see this icon, you just release your finger, and then you're going to go back, right? See, like this. If I go from left to right, going back, like so, okay? Back, 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 no fuss there. We know that if you slide up and hold, this goes to multitasking. It can also help you switch between apps, but an even easier way to switch between apps is you're going to find where the bar is, and you just want to slide either to the right or to the left with your finger, okay? Do a flick and release motion, and you can easily switch between the applications which are opened up in the multitasking, like so. So that will allow you to easily switch between the applications. As you can see, no fuss there at all. Now, let's slide down from the top once. And when we do this, you're going to have these quick options here: internet, Bluetooth, do not disturb, and the wallet. These can be changed in the future. You're then going to see all of your notifications. So you can have a notification preview. If you tap on this arrow here, that will expand the notification. You can see on some notifications you have a quick action. So complete setup by installing apps. If I tap on review, it's going to open up the Google Play and go into that menu. You can also just tap on the notification itself and it will open up the app in question. So Google Play Store, okay, open it up, it opens the Play Store and it's discussing the apps. If you have a game sending a notification, if you were to tap on that notification, it open up the app. Maybe WhatsApp messages, you tap on the notification and it will open up the app. If you want to remove this notification, you just slide to the left. Now if it doesn't let you, as you can see right here, it doesn't let me close out this notification and I have to interact with it. So let's tap on this notification and we need to interact, so I'm just going to not install the apps, and you can now see the notification is gone. So if you can't slide out of it, it must require you to interact with it in some sort of way. If you tap on the manage button here, this will bring you to the notification area inside the settings. So you can tap on app settings to choose which applications you would like to see notifications for. If you tap on the toggle, you can easily turn that one off. You can also see the history of notifications if you turn this on, okay? And what that will show is maybe, Google is sending too many notifications, Facebook is sending too many notifications, and you could use that information to maybe turn off notifications for the app. If you also tap on the app itself, you can change which type of notifications you receive by the application. Okay, so that's just going to help you, if I go here, do I want to know about security and errors? Probably not. Maybe you do. Do I want to know about updates completed? Probably not, so you want to turn that off. Or do I want to know about my account 3 times a week? Definitely not. So you can play around with these. You then also have these other notification settings. We never really mess around with these ones here. Okay, other than do not disturb, all this stuff should really stay the same. Do not disturb is a feature where you can just block essentially all notifications. So you blacklist them all, but you can choose some people that allow notifications through still, and some apps which still allow notifications. Okay, so let's go back into the notification center. If you slide down one more time, you're going to be brought to the control center. So from here, we see our first 4 widgets or quick toggles, but we now have the option to change the brightness right here, and we have more toggles, right? If you just slide across. If we want to change the order of these toggles, or maybe remove toggles, add new ones, you're just going to tap on the pencil, and then from here you can drag and drop to change where the toggles are. And you see here, hold to drag to add tiles. These are the quick toggles which are not in the control center currently. So let's say I want a alarm quick toggle. You drag it and then you slide up and you drop it where you'd like. Once you're happy, you can just go back, and then we're brought back to this view. With these quick toggles, you have a bunch of options for quick stuff. but this is also where the screen recording is housed, okay? So if you ever want to record the screen recorder is right here. You also have a quick toggle for the settings app, and you also have a quick toggle for the power off menu as well. If you just tap on the quick toggle for a bunch of them, you're going to see this pop-out view. So here I can connect to Wi-Fi without opening up the settings. And in this case I can't do anything. And you can see in this case it just opens up the app. So it really depends on what quick toggle you have, whether or not it's going to show a pop-out view like so. Some are just going to turn on or off the toggle by tapping on it. So I have the flashlight here, okay? Now with some toggles, if you long press on them, long press, it'll bring you straight into the area of settings where that toggle is located. So I'm brought straight to the Wi-Fi settings. If I long press on Bluetooth, I'm brought straight to the Bluetooth settings. Let's go to the alarm. So this one, you can see, doesn't allow me to long press. I can only tap, and it brings me to the alarm app. So it really is hit and miss with the applications, which one are going to, tap to view a pop-up view, hold to open up the app. So you really have to play around with this one. So now let's discuss the home screen. So by default, you're only going to have one page on your home screen. So I'm just going to make sure I only have one page, so I can't slide around, right? So if you want to have multiple pages, you just want to find an app on your home screen, long press, drag and drop. So now multiple pages. But here's the problem, the applications on the home screen are, this stuff. But let's say I download an app and I want that app I downloaded to be on the home screen. So what happens is all of your newly downloaded apps, if you slide up, you can see they're all located here. So let's say I want the clock app to be brought from this All Apps menu, which you access by sliding up, and I want it to be on the home screen. You just long press on the app and then drag. And if you just go near to the edge, you can see it switches pages. You can also see a preview of where the app will go, and then you drop, and then the application is on the home screen, okay? If you want to remove an app from the home screen, but keep it installed on your device, long press on the app, and then drag and drop where it says remove, okay? So drag, let's try that again, drag, drop where it says remove. Now, if you downloaded the app from Google Play Store or from a third-party website, when you long press, you will see remove, but you will also have the option to uninstall. If you select uninstall, that's going to completely remove the app from your device. Remove just removes the app from the home screen. Uninstall means it's going to be completely gone. If an app is removed from the home screen, it is still available in the All Apps section, so just keep that one in mind. On top of this, if you long press on the empty space, so don't long press on the app, long press on the empty space, okay? We can see, we can just tap on here to very quickly change the wallpaper of our device. If you tap in to the wallpaper and style, it will bring you to the wallpaper settings, and this is where you can change the wallpaper by tapping on this option. If you want to set a wallpaper to your own custom one, you select My Photos and select the photo you have on your camera. You can also change the color of the UI, so you can see the color tones, green, blue, grayish, and a little deeper blue. Let's long press again. So we have widgets. So if you'd like to add widgets, just tap on here, and you can find the widget you would like. So maybe the battery widget. Okay, I like this one. So just long press on the widget you want, and then drag and drop. And you can also resize the widget as well to your heart's content. Let's long press again on the empty space, and we have the home setting. So you have all these options here to play around with. Do you want notification dots? That is, how many notifications you have from an app. You probably want to keep that one on. At a glance, so what this means is the weather information, recent notifications will be available from the lock screen, okay? Weather, quick notification previews as well. If you download new apps and you don't want them to be added to the home screen immediately, or you want them in the all apps view, then what you can do is add new apps to home screen. You can just turn that one off. You see here, swipe to access Google app. If I turn that off, when I slide to the right, there is no Google which shows up. So by default, you can see we have this Google area here with the news and videos and stuff like that, right? So if I go back to the home settings, if I don't want that, I can turn it off. If you want suggestions and actions in the overview, you can have that on or off. So if you're wondering, the home screen will sometimes suggest what applications you want to have opened. It's decent, but if you don't like it, you can always turn it off. And if you want home screen rotation, so if you go to landscape, you can see it rotates as well. You can have that one on if you'd like. With Google Pixels, it is impossible to remove the Google search bar from the home screen. Like they just force you to have the Google there. On other Androids you can remove it, but with Google's, well, tough luck. They just don't allow you to do it. You'd have to hack your phone, which obviously I don't think you'd want to do. Reduces the security, causes applications to break. Let's use the camera app. So if I tap on the camera icon here, it's going to open up the camera app. So if you want to take a picture, you can just tap on this button here, take a picture. You can also use the volume buttons to take a picture as well. Volume up, volume down, all working. If you long press when you're on the camera mode, you can see it's going to take a video. If you release your finger, the video will be saved. But if you want to continue recording without touching the screen, long press to start a video and then slide where the lock is, and now you can see I'm hands-free. If you want to zoom in, you just get 2 fingers and then pinch outwards or inwards if you want to zoom out. If you tap on the screen, you can change the color temperature, how blue or orange. You can change the brightness and also the amount of shadows as well. You can also see 0.7, 1 and 2. So these are your different cameras. So 0.7 is the ultra wide, right? Take a picture, boom, it's the ultra wide. You then have the 1x, which is the main camera. With Google Pixel 7, there is no 2x zoom, but it does it digitally. So there is actually no quality loss when it comes to 2x zoom. But yeah, it's not switching the camera, right? On top of this, you have the switch. So when you use this one, it's going to flip the camera, right? So I'm now using the front camera. Okay, do a selfie, boom. And you also have the rotate to switch the camera again. If you tap on a subject in the camera mode, this will allow you to have the focus tracked on that subject. So you know how with an image, I just put my finger here, there's the foreground, which is my hand, and then the background, which is everything else. If I just tap on my hands here, to always make the hand the foreground, no matter what, right? Doesn't seem to be 100% perfect, but that's what it does. So if we tap on the modes, we can switch between the modes, like so, right? If I tap on the arrow here, you're going to have more options for each mode. So we have more light. So by default, if you're in a low light environment, it will automatically switch to night sight. Otherwise, you can set here flash, so you can use a flash. You then have the top shot. So sometimes it's going to take a picture, but the picture is going to house a short video. That's what top shot is. I think it's not great, so I just turn it off. You can set a timer here. So we have a 3-second timer, we have a 10-second timer right here. And when there's a timer, there's going to be a countdown, and the flash will also blink to show each second which passes, okay? You can also change the ratio. So by default, images are going to be taken 4:3. This means 4 down, 3 to the right, okay? If you want 16:9, which is a wider image, you can do that if you would like. You then also have the more settings. This more settings is going to group all of the settings for all of the modes in one. Because if I go to, let's say, video, you're going to notice these extra options here are a little bit different. So we have the flash, which is of course that right there, on or off. We have the resolution. So the higher the resolution, the better the overall quality, okay? So I just recommend you set this to 4K. And do keep in mind it will use more storage. You then have frames per second. This is how smooth the video is. So if we set this to 4K 60, you can see the preview is a lot smoother. Go to 30. Just take a look at that preview there. Maybe it looks a little bit laggy. Go to 60, it's going to look more smooth. If you're using the lower frame rate, you have HDR. HDR just makes the video pop out more, just more, you know, better looking. You have to test it out for proper understanding, okay? Essentially, it increases the color range of the video, first thing, so you're going to get more colors. And second of all, regular video has a set brightness, right? But high dynamic range, you can have a far higher brightness, so the darker parts of the video are going to look darker, the brighter parts are going to look brighter, that type of thing. So the videos are going to look better, more realistic. You then have speech enhancement. So this just removes, you know, the backgrounds, noise, whether that's, you know, someone talking in the background, whether that's, you know, wind or a train, etc. It's going to remove that. We of course have the different zooms. When it comes to recording video, what's unique about the Pixel 7 is you can actually switch between the camera lenses while recording. When it comes to every other phone, the camera lens you use is the camera lens you're forced to stay with, but with Google, you can actually switch. When you are recording, you can pause the recording like so, tap again to resume, and if you tap on this camera icon, you can take a picture of what you see in the video, okay? This also shows the stabilization right here. Stabilization is on, and it just makes the videos smoother. When we're not recording, you can tap on the video stabilization to change it, but you cannot change it while you are recording. We also have here slow motion, which is slow video, okay, 1/8 speed, 1/4 speed. We also have time lapse, 5 times speed, 10 times speed, 30 times speed, 120 times speed. You can play it with that there. We then have the portrait mode. So what that does is it's going to make the foreground more distinct and the background more blurred, okay? So it's great for selfies. If If you want the background, which is like this right here, if you want it more blurred than you get regularly, you can blur it using the portrait mode. And of course you do have the portrait mode settings. A lot of them are the same. However, face retouching, what this does is it kind of beautifies the face. So if you want a small or smooth, it's popular in Asia. Okay, it just makes your face more smooth, more pretty, less realistic. Up to you whether or not you want to use that. We then have motion photos. So this is useful if you are, let's say you're taking a picture and you have a bunch of cars moving by, right? What it's going to do is it's going to create a picture out of all those cars moving by, and you're not going to see the result here, right? But the result will be all these cars blurred, okay? And you also have the action pan as well. And so action pan, essentially you can track an object, right? And it's going to create a blur on that object. This is only useful if the object is moving, right? Like moving constantly. Otherwise, you just want to use the regular portrait mode. And if we go to the action mode settings, they're virtually the same, okay? Aspect ratio, timer, already covered those. And then we have night sight. So this mode is going to take night mode pictures all the time. This just means if there's low light, you're going to get better light performance. But do keep in mind, Google on the regular camera mode will automatically sense if you need to use night sight. The reason why you go here is because of astrophotography mode. So astrophotography mode will allow you to take like really good pictures of the stars or the clouds, the moon, etc. Will give you this really high quality detail. But you will need a tripod, and you will need a phone to rest for about 5 minutes on that tripod. If you want to take a look at astrophotography mode, I have a video on that in the description. So let's go into the more settings here. So let's go more settings. So if you want the location of where your photos and videos were taken to be saved, you can turn that toggle on. If you want the shutter sound, so the click or like the shush, something like that. My sound effects aren't great, but if you want sound when you're taking pictures, etc., you can have that on. Of course, if the phone is muted, you're not going to have those sounds. If you want Google Lens suggestions, so if you want to scan documents, scan QR codes with the camera mode, you can have that on. You then have the social share, so this is where you can share your pictures, videos. You tap on here, you can select which apps you would like to share to. You then have the buttons. So we see volume key action, that is going to take a picture, take a video, stop the video. But if you want to change that, you can do so right here. We then have the double tap action. So if we just double tap, okay, double tap, you can see it zooms in, boom, zooms out. However, if you would like that to flip the camera, you can just select switch camera like so. And then when you double tap, it's going to switch from the rear lens to the front lens. We then have frequent faces. So this is going to essentially, when you use the top shot mode, which I don't recommend you use, but if you are using it and it sees faces which are constantly in the frame, then it's going to prioritize taking pictures or videos of those people most. This is only useful if you use top shot mode and auto mode, and you use the top shot mode at all. I don't think you need it, but if you like it, you can turn it on. You can then see the device storage here. So if you would like, you can see the remaining storage, how many photos that is, and how many videos that is. You can also use the storage saver. So what this will do is it will reduce the quality of your videos and pictures. It's not that noticeable, but you probably want the highest quality photos. We then have here the framing hints. So this just gives you tips when you're taking pictures and videos. You can also add a grid. So if I add a grid, you can see it's just a grid. You can also use the manual controls, white balance, exposure. So the manual controls are accessed when you tap on the screen. Okay, white balance, exposure, shadows, like so. You can also select, if you want, full resolution pictures or medium resolution pictures. I recommend you leave it a full resolution, as of course you want the best quality. You see here, save selfies previewed. So when you take a selfie, okay, go like this, you can see this is how I look, right? But when the picture's taken, it's going to flip my face. If you don't want that, which I think no one really wants in my view, you can just turn this on. So what you see is what you get. If you want video stabilization, which reduces the shake, you can turn this guy on. Audio zoom, definitely want to turn this guy off. What it does is when you zoom in the video, it's going to make it so, let's say I'm recording and then I zoom in, it sounds like I'm speaking further away than I actually am, and it makes the people who are further away sound louder than they actually are. I don't like it. I recommend you turn it off. It just causes issues. Okay, so turn this one off. We then have the advanced options. So show dirty lens warning. You can see my camera lens is dirty, so when I'm trying to take pictures, it did show the warning earlier. What that means is you just get your clothes, okay, just rub it like a t-shirt, rub it across the lens for a couple of seconds and you're done. You then have the RAW plus JPEG control. This is for if you want to, if you're a pro, okay, and you do photo editing, and not photo editing where you just change some sliders, like proper, photo editing, Photoshop, you turn that guy on. Otherwise, you don't need it. Store videos efficiently, leave this one on. Back in the day, you'd probably want to turn this off because most devices wouldn't be able to watch this video, the videos you make, but nowadays the HEVC format is widely used. If you want the depth features to be saved so that third-party apps can use them, you can have that on. I haven't really seen the point of that. It does slow down how long it takes for pictures to be taken. If you want a time lapse for your astrophotography, you can turn that on. And if you want the flashlight to show up when you are using a timer picture, okay, so I do a timer, I flip, you can see the flashlight blinks. If you want to turn that off, you can turn it off there. Let's go into the settings. So if you need to change your network settings, such as your Wi-Fi network, your cellular network, your hotspot, you do that all in the network and internet settings here. If you want to connect a Bluetooth device or an NFC device, you go into the connected devices section, pair a new device for Bluetooth or NFC. If you need to change your app settings, you go into here. You can change your default apps, assistant settings, screen time, special app access. If you just tap on an app, you can change the permissions, notifications. You can see the battery use, and you can change the default app. If an application is glitching out, you can choose the full stop. That will just stop the application in its tracks. You can reopen it, of course, afterwards. If you want to change your notification settings, you do that in the notifications area. You have control for individual apps. Notification history is going to show, the recent notifications which show up. but you will need to turn this on, okay? This by default is off, right? Notification history is also useful if someone sends you a WhatsApp message and then they delete it. It's actually going to be saved in the notification history, so you are still going to see the notification they sent out. You also have Do Not Disturb. This will block notifications for virtually everything, okay? But you can whitelist what apps will still show notifications, what people will still show notifications. You can set a schedule as well. We then have the battery settings, so you can see your percent, how long before your phone's about to die. That is a prediction, so it's not great. You can see your battery usage. You can share battery with other devices. So if you just place another device on the back of your phone, you can do wireless charging. You can also show the battery percentage in the status bar with this toggle here. And you can choose adaptive charging and adaptive battery. This stuff you leave on, all it does is it detects when you wake up every morning, and so it will charge your phone slower overnight than normal, and that will help save battery in the long run. You have your storage settings here, so you can see how much everything is using, okay? If you need to free up storage, you go to the Files app, and then you can delete files, etc. We then have the sound settings, so we can change the volume of all this stuff here. It also shows the Do Not Disturb. We can change the ringtone. We can also have the media player show. When you slide down once, media will show here. And all this stuff you really just leave the same for the most part. Maybe the alarm sound you're going to change, or the default notification sound. Everything else you just leave. We then have the display settings here. So if you want to change the brightness, you can do so here, but really you just slide down twice to change the brightness, okay? We then have adaptive brightness. So let's say in your room, bedroom, whatever, the brightness around you is lower, but when you go outside, the brightness outside is going to be a lot brighter. So this will automatically change the brightness, so you get a brighter screen. In here, you can also change the lock screen settings. So you can add your own text to the lock screen. Always show time and info is the always on display option. If you get new notifications, it will wake up the screen. So you can change all the lock screen settings here. If you want night light, which is changes the screen so it looks more orange, it just helps you sleep better at night if you're using the phone at that time. You can have this on. And with all these options, a bunch of them, you can tap on the actual text itself and it'll bring you into this menu. And so we can change the schedule and the intensity. I recommend you do have the max intensity if you do use the nightlight feature. Then we have the auto rotate screen, smooth display, screen protector mode. So smooth display, you don't want to change. Auto rotate screen, if this is off, turn it on. Screen protector mode, if you're having issues with touch, you may want to turn that one on, but otherwise it's not useful. We then have wallpaper and style. So this is where you can change the wallpaper. You can also do it from the home screen, which I covered earlier. We then have accessibility settings. So if you have any accessibility needs, you can go into these options here and use your accessibility needs. We then have security. So this is where you can set a screen lock, set a face and fingerprint lock. We then have the privacy. So we can see which applications are recently using the permissions, and if we're not happy, we can turn off the permissions. You can turn on or off all these permissions for all apps. Do keep in mind, if you turn off camera access for all apps, you're not going to be able to, use the camera. So you may not want to do that, but that is where you would change the privacy settings. This is where you change the location settings in the location area. You can see the recent access and quickly turn off location if you would like to. This right here, use precise location. This is used for maps, apps, but otherwise, unless an app needs to know your address, you probably want to turn this off. Turning off precise location also saves battery. We then have safety and emergency. So this is where you would add your medical information, car crash detection, etc. It's going to show all that stuff here. We then have the passwords and accounts. So this is where all of your accounts are located, Google accounts, etc. You tap on add account, you can add new Google accounts or new email accounts as well. We then have the system settings, so we can change the language from English to whatever. You can choose if you want the live translate feature. You can change the gestures here, okay, you have all these options. If you want to change gesture navigation to the 3-button navigation, you can do that here, but I think gestures are better. You can back up your device here. You can check for system updates here. And if you ever want to reset your phone, you can do that here in the system settings as well. And then we have the about phone. So we see the device name, the phone number for our SIM cards, and some legal information, IMEI number, and just all of our device information is stored here. Shout out to you if you watched this far. Thanks for watching. If you did appreciate this video and you want to buy some Google Pixel 7 accessories, use my Amazon affiliate link in the description. Anything you buy, I get commission, which Amazon would usually take. If you appreciate this longer video and you see the super thanks option, please consider leaving a super thanks. That helps support the channel as well. Bye bye.